Yeah. So this has probably been like the fifth or sixth time I'm filming this intro because you guys, not only could I not land on what I wanted to speak about this week, this camera keeps moving. It just keeps moving like up and down. So it's been distracting me, but here we are. I wanted to make a video today because if I had heard this shit about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 months ago, I would have been very, very happy. I've seen, of course, on social media, on YouTube, on the internet, it is very popular now to both make and then consume health, wellness, psychology, self-help content, and I do so myself. I love doing that. I think that I've learned so much from other people. I've honestly learned the most from people who don't really talk about one specific thing, but instead they are a specific kind of energy. But something there's so much of online, I feel like, is specifically the like health and wellness instructional videos. Yes, this is very popular, right? Which it makes sense. Of course, there's so many ways you can train your body. There's so many ways you can build muscle, and like whatever sort of idea you have for how you want to look like, you can get to it, and you can get inspired by these videos online. But what I don't see a lot of is the kind of other side of it, which is the kind of mindset and maybe the thought process behind doing said thing. And I think this is something that I didn't really get, and I had a specific kind of mindset about this that I think was leading me to just not want to do it. Personally, right now, I believe that working out, taking care of yourself, and kind of going towards whatever idea you have of how you want to look like is healthy, and it is something that symbolizes freedom to me, which, as you might know from my previous video, it is my highest value. So for me, being able to have a desire, so let's say it is having like a specific kind of body, specific kind of look, and then working towards it without fear, I think that feels like freedom to me, and working towards it without fear, pressure, and also just any sort of like not chasing it, and this is a concept that of course you can apply to a lot of things, but we're gonna take you back. I took you back in the last video, so I'm gonna take you back in this video. We're gonna talk about kind of where I was when it comes to taking care of myself, working out, fitness, that whole thing. So I want to start this by saying, like, out the gate, out the jump, I was not really a big fan of like sports, working out. Like, I wasn't in any sort of like sports teams growing up. I grew up in a really small town, so there wasn't a lot to choose from, to be honest, and I never really had that sort of interest in it. Like, for me, it was you either play football, or if you wanted something different, you had to go to like a different city, basically. That's kind of how countryside the place is that I'm from. But anyways, so I never really got into it, but something I did get into was working out in the gym. So I think I might have been like 13 or 14 when this started, and I think a lot of how I treated it back then, of course, related to what I believed about myself, and that is such a correlation, I think, and that still exists in my life, and I think in a lot of people's life, because you will only take care of yourself in a way that's like aligned with and related to what you believe about yourself. And that's something that took me a minute. That took me a minute to realize, now I believe that I have value, that I am worthy, and that I should respect my body and nourish my body, but back then my belief system was I need validation. And for me to get that, I need to look a specific way. For me to fit in and to adapt, I need to go to the gym. I need to look like a specific kind of version of myself that will fit into the mold. And I think a lot of people go towards this, a lot of young people especially, because it is essentially part of our design, the human design of we need a sense of community, feeling like we belong to something, you know. And when we're younger, it's so linked to survival as well. So we feel like if we don't do this, if we don't like fit in, if we don't feel like we belong, it's detrimental, you know. And mixed out with like teenage emotions, and it's like, girl, this is why them teenagers is so moody, is because there's a lot of things going on at the same time. So I was definitely there, you know. I was definitely there where I did not appreciate my body, how I looked, um, constantly, of course, comparing myself to other people and kind of evaluating myself based on how other people looked and how they, you know, were perceived. And it took a while, you know, it took a while to heal that. But I think when it comes to like the external aspect of us and how we are perceived in the world, you know, I think a lot of us forget is that, like, no matter what we look like, no matter like how physically this or that is, you're still valued, you know, and you're still just as good in any sort of form. And I know that that's like such a surface level thing for me to say, but I'm gonna dig a little bit deeper with this, because it is deeper than that. I think for me, what it was realizing that I wasn't taken care of. I wasn't in acceptance of the different parts of myself, you know, because I would nourish and I would applaud that version of myself that would show up with excitement, that would show up with openness. But then when I would be tired and when I would feel stressed or angry, I would push that person away and kind of leave them to be dealt with just by me, you know? And I think this ties together with the concept of le shadow, which I might make a video on. But if you are interested in psychology and the human mind and stuff, this is something that's quite interesting that you could dig deeper into. But basically, it's kind of, for me, what the shadow is, it's these parts of ourselves that we don't accept, that we know that exist but we haven't accepted yet, you know. And for me, I think this was a huge part of it, you know. This was a huge part of just not being in acceptance. And I think that maybe once I did start to accept more of these parts of myself, I started to want to take care of myself more, because I saw myself as this whole thing, you know. What it was for me was learning that, like, I can be of value in so many different ways. I don't have to be this like perfect idealized version of myself to be of value, you know. So yeah, it was, you know, it was sitting with those different parts of myself, you know, like when I was tired, when I was feeling angry, just just sitting with that version of me and just being like, you okay? You okay? What do you need? What do you need? You know, and yeah, you know, so that acceptance definitely helped me get to a point where I felt like I deserve to have a good like self-care routine, you know, and I deserve to go to the gym and enjoy it, you know. And I think I'm gonna get into this, but I think that is such a huge part of why I've been doing it now consistently, and I do it because I enjoy it, you know? Yeah, you know, like self-care and taking care of your body, nourishing your body is so important because it allows you to do more. I think it allows you to just kind of feel more confident, you know, have more energy, you know, to do more things, you know. And I think life is all about just experiencing things and creating experiences for yourself. And if I can do more of that, then why not? Why not do more? So yeah, so I think that, yeah, like one of the things that I think about constantly is like, how do I make this more enjoyable? You know, for me at the start, I think for a while I was working out in the evenings and that just wasn't enjoyable for me. So I changed it to the mornings, and something that I do that would probably like freak any and every personal trainer out is that I work out like full body every day, which I am gonna stop this, because I know that like the reason why you separate the different like muscle groups is because if you don't, then the muscle doesn't have time to grow, because like by doing like these like lifting exercises, you're basically like straining the muscle, and it doesn't really have time to like grow and recover. So yeah, that's something I found out today. So this is life for you. You learn things every single day, and yeah, this was something my friend told me, and now it like just like clicked in my mind, and I was like, oh yeah, like duh. Like of course. So yeah, this is something that I'm gonna change. And but yes, it's not, see, that's the thing I want to tell you. It's like, it's not something that is like nothing about what I do with like working out and that whole thing is me doing it to get to a certain destination, you know. For me, it's part of my life, and it's honestly, I enjoy the feeling of it. I enjoy just like feeling like I'm working my body out, and the feeling after is so great as well, you know. And like I said, you know, I have a goal, and I have it like, I set an intention and a goal, and then I just kind of let go of it, you know. It is something that I want to work towards, but it's not something that I need like right now. I feel like I love what I have right now, and I also love the body I'm working towards, you know. And I think this is a healthy mindset. This really works for me. It keeps me motivated. It keeps me like wanting to do this more, you know. So yeah, definitely do the whole like workout split thing. I still haven't figured it out. I'm going to hopefully like tonight. And yeah, and I am learning new workouts and new exercises, but I'm not following anything strictly. I'm kind of just creating my own thing that both feels good for me and is exciting for me, and I'm kind of just following that. So I think that's a cool mindset to have, you know. And I think yeah, that's the kind of message I want to deliver in this video. That yeah, once you accept yourself for you right now, you know, that's when you start to also nourish it. Because for me, what it's really felt like is that, yeah, like once I started to accept myself more, I wanted to also take care of myself more, and it came very naturally, and it kind of just happened, you know. And I started to work out consistently, and it didn't feel like any really that much effort, you know. It just kind of felt like I was doing something that I enjoyed doing. And then what came next was I started running as well, you know, like that was another thing. And yeah, so yeah, that's it, you know. You guys, this video was not easy for me to make, but at the same time it was, because this is how I truly feel. These are things that I've been thinking about, that have been happening so in my life. So but yeah, like I want to end this video and every video that I make with some gratitude. So yeah, I'm thankful for this moment. I'm thankful that I finished this video, that I didn't give up. And yeah, you know, and I'm thankful for this experience. I'm thankful for the people in my life, the people who love me, the people who hate me. I love you all. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Yes, I will.